talking to your buddies and they say, he wants to take my gun away. You've heard it here. I'm on television, so everybody knows it. I believe in the Second Amendment. I believe in people's lawful right to bear arms. I will not take your shotgun away. I will not take your rifle away. I won't take your handgun away. I will not take your rifle away. I won't take your handgun away. I believe in the Second Amendment. I believe in people's lawful right to bear arms.
One other issue that's of great importance here in the district as well is gun control. You said in Idaho recently, quoting here, I have no intention of taking away folks' guns. But you support the D.C. handgun ban, and you said that it's constitutional. How can you reconcile those two?
We need a gun policy in this state that is reasonable, that is balanced, that is measured. We respect hunters and sportsmen. This is not taking away people's guns. I own
It's legal in the United States. It's part of our Constitution. You know, the right to bear arms is because that's the last form of defense against tyranny. Not to hunt. It's to protect yourself from the police.
I was in the Philippines, physically, the day Ferdinand Marcos declared martial law and made himself a dictator. And the first thing that dictator did, he gave the people of the Philippines 2 weeks to turn in all their guns or it was the death penalty. Now, why would a dictator do that? Why would he make his #1 priority when he took over as dictator to disarm the public? The Second Amendment is there, and it was put in there not for hunting and fishing like they like to say, because back when they did it, if you didn't hunt or fish, you didn't eat. It was put in there so the citizens would have the ability, if their government became oppressive, they could defend themselves against oppressive governments.
I was exercising my freedom of speech and assembly in Tiananmen Square. However, the young passion and patriotism were crushed by hails and metal jackets by the AK-47s. We could not fight back because we did not have an inch of iron in our hands, to borrow a Chinese expression. We were not armed. Freedom is not free. Liberty has costs. We recognize that in this free society, criminals are mentally deranged to get weapons and murder innocents. The answer, however, is not to disarm the law-abiding citizens. Because when a government turns criminal, when a government turns deranged, the body count will not be 5, 10, or even 20. It will be in the hundreds like in Tiananmen Square. It will be in the millions, as proved by the 90-year rule of the Chinese Communist Party.
Because while there is no law or set of laws that can prevent every senseless act of violence completely, No piece of legislation that will prevent every tragedy, every act of evil. If there's even one thing we can do to reduce this violence, if there's even one life that can be saved, then we've got an obligation to try.
Just in tonight, a mother's call for help seconds before she shoots and kills an intruder.
It happened this weekend.
Yes, I've got 2 guns in my hand. Is it okay to shoot him if he comes in the store?
Police say the two knock for about 20 minutes, then bust into the house. She says Justin Martin has a 12-inch knife and comes at her. Sarah shoots and kills him.
And I wouldn't have done it, but it was my son. I had to protect him.
Sarah told police she was just protecting her baby.
From a terrifying home invasion story. A Georgia mother of 2 was hiding in a crawl space with her children when she came face to face with the burglar. What he didn't know is that the mom was ready to protect her family with a .36 caliber handgun.
In the house, Melinda? Are you sure? Melinda, if he opens that door, you shoot him, you understand?
Police say 9-year-old twins as they ran upstairs and then broke through a locked bedroom and a locked bathroom before finding the attic where the kids and their mother were hiding.
All right, you stay in the attic, all right? He's in the bedroom? Okay, shh, relax. Just remember everything that I showed you, everything that I taught you, all right?
She's armed with a .38 revolver, drops the phone with her husband, and starts firing.
6, a motel clerk faced with a life or death situation pulls out a gun and fires on her attacker.
With a long criminal record, wanted in other robberies around the state before he walked into the hotel early this morning and put a knife to the throat of a female employee. They say the woman was carrying a .22 caliber handgun under her shirt. They say Carson slipped the knife into his pocket and began using plastic zip ties to restrain his victim, an apparent prelude to a sexual assault. The woman pulled the gun, turned, and fired into Carson's chest, hitting him in or close to his heart.
Good evening, glad you're with us. Armed with a gun and ready to shoot, a Shawnee woman defends her home as a man breaks down her door.
Now, this happened in broad daylight, and this woman did not back down.
She stood near her kitchen, just steps away from the front door, with both hands on her .32 caliber pistol.
All of a sudden, with one kick, he knocked the door completely in. The frame came flying down, things were flying everywhere, and he saw that I had the gun. And he grabbed the door handle and pulled the door shut.
Also from Gwinnett County, a woman who happens to be a local school counselor came out of her shower today and came face to face with an intruder. She ended up shooting and killing the intruder.
Stepped out of the shower when a stranger burst into her bathroom.
The male was armed with a kitchen knife. Struggle ensued between the two of them. She fell inside the bathtub, injuring herself.
The victim told police she fought off her assailant with a shower rod. He then forced her into the bedroom with the intent to sexually assault her. She told him she had some money stashed, but instead of getting cash, she grabbed her .22 caliber pistol and opened fire.
A 12-year-old Bryan County girl who shot a man yesterday after she says he broke into her home is being hailed as an inspiration to others tonight.
So I didn't answer the door.
She went to the blinds to get a closer look at the man at her door, and that's when she says 32-year-old Stacy Jones started pounding on her door. Scared and worried, she called her mom.
And she said, "Mom, I think he's going to the back door." And I said, "You go get the gun and you get in my closet right now and call 911.
I was sitting there in the closet, really scared, holding the gun, not knowing what was going to happen. When he turned the door handle, I shot toward him with my mom's gun, and it hit him right here in the arm.
After she shot Jones in the shoulder, he ran out of the bathroom and through this door. She stayed on the phone with 911 operators the entire time she was in the closet and did not come out until they said it was okay.
public safety, gun violence has been on a rampage, as we know firsthand.
So let's look at the national data for violent crimes. Let's look at 1992. We'll see that in 1992 we had a violent crime rate of 757 per 100,000 and a murder rate of 9.3 per 100,000. Now let's fast forward to 2011. We have a violent crime rate now of 386 per 100,000. That is a 50% reduction in violent crime. We have a murder rate of 4.7 per 100,000. That is a 54% decrease. That the crime we do have, where is it coming from? When you start to look a little more closely at the data, one thing you'll notice. In metropolitan areas where the population is greater than 250,000, our violent crime rate is double that of the national average. Our murder rate is double that of the national average as well. But one thing I'll tell you is our media and our politicians have not been clear with this. They make it seem so much easier than it is. And there are a few things that we do know. Over the past 20 years, our violent crime rate in the US has dropped by 50%. We know where the crime is coming from. Metropolitan areas with population of over 250,000. We know that the UK has a higher violent crime rate than us. And we also know that we have 6 times more large metropolitan areas than they do. All of those factors have to be considered. I feel like our media isn't being honest about this. They're using the public to tell you what, if they want to solve violent crime, they need to put on their boots and go to those neighborhoods and figure out how to improve the poverty level, how to create jobs, and how to improve the education system. That is how you're going to reduce the violent crime in those neighborhoods.
More importantly, the EU named Britain as the most violent country in the EU. In the UK, there are 2,034 violent crimes per 100,000 people. That puts it way ahead of even South Africa, with a rate of 1,609 per 100,000. In the United States, we're not even in the top 10. The US has a violent crime rate of 466 crimes per 100,000 residents.